If you want to be fit, strong, and healthy, eating more protein is where it's at. I'm Melanie, if you're new here. I am a mom of 4 who prioritizes my own health and fitness while also caring for my amazing family at home. And I also know that it can be a struggle balancing mom life and my own health and fitness goals. Something that I have been doing over the past couple of months, maybe it's been almost 3 months now, is meal prepping. Meal prepping has truly changed my life, especially as a busy mom. I can hit my protein goals without spending hours in the kitchen every single day because I've invested the time at the beginning of the week to plan for success, to have some healthy, high protein options ready to go, so I don't have to think about it. Everything is already prepared, makes it super simple. Highly recommend it if you haven't started already. Jump on board and join my summer glow up meal prep. We're in the middle of a series. Actually, we're probably coming near the end now because summer is quickly approaching. So if you've missed any of the previous episodes, it's all on my channel, it's all there for you, and I will link a few of them at the end of today's video so you can go back and catch up after you finish today's video. I do apologize, my voice is a little bit raspy and I'm a little bit late meal prepping this week because I was sick, but I feel better. My voice is just, yeah. And as always, I will have the whole meal prep order of steps. I will have the macros if you're counting calories or you want to know exactly how much protein is in each serving. Hopefully you find all of that helpful, and it's in the description completely for free, no strings attached. On the menu today, we are gonna be making some chicken breast skewers. These are fantastic. They taste so good. They kind of give me some Greek vibes. So I'm gonna be also making a Greek tzatziki high protein dip to go with the chicken skewers. Okay, and I need your help with the next one because I honestly do not know what to call these. I wanna call them protein bars, but the texture is not like a protein bar at all. It's more like a cake. But I feel like if I call it a cake, it's kind of deceiving because it's not a cake. When I think about a cake, I'm like thinking about a cake. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like chocolate with sprinkles and all that stuff. This isn't really cake, but it's more like a cake texture. If you guys have any ideas of what to call this, please comment below and give me some help because I'm lost. I'm really lost. They're made with protein powder, egg whites, oat flour, all super healthy ingredients, lots of protein, but they're also gonna taste really good. These are amazing because they're so easy to pack and take with you if you're running out the door, and they're also a good snack or breakfast Okay, Lauren, you can go. And then we're also gonna be making a tuna pasta salad. I've made something similar in a previous video, which I will link here, but I'm changing a few things up. So if you're looking for a good cold pasta salad, I'm an Italian, I love anything to do with pasta. So we're doing a high protein tuna pasta salad. It's a good lunch, especially now that we're coming into some warmer weather when you don't always want like a hot meal, you just want something cold. And that's all I'm making today. I'm not going like crazy on the meal prepping today. I just wanted to do something simple, easy, and healthy with lots of protein that will just help me get through this week. And then next week, we're gonna come back with some more fun and yummy, delicious recipes. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos, and I'd love for you to join my YouTube family. Okay, let's meal prep. So I literally have 1 hour until I have to run out the door and get my kids at the bus. So this is truly gonna be a test whether this meal prep is really quick and easy, or if it's not gonna happen in an hour. I will be honest and let you know, but we're gonna try. We are trying for this to happen in 1 hour. Call me old-fashioned, but I actually love printing off recipes and my meal prep order of steps because I cannot stand using my phone when I'm cooking because I just feel like my hands are always dirty. You know, I've got them in butter or I'm chopping garlic and I'm constantly washing them. So I recommend printing off your recipes. That way you don't have to worry about your phone getting dirty and it's just always there right in front of you. It's so convenient and easy to look at. I'm starting with my protein bars, and do not waste your money on oat flour at the store. I just recommend throwing some oats in a blender and you just turn it into flour that way. It's really simple and yeah, save yourself the money and just do it at home. I've added in some protein powder. I also have a little bit of baking powder and salt and cinnamon, and I'm just stirring all of these dry ingredients together. And then I have some coconut oil, and I'm going to be putting this in the microwave just so that it can melt because you don't want to use it when it's hard. So now I'm gonna mix my wet ingredients separate, and I have these little mini applesauce containers. They're actually what I buy for my kids' school lunches, but they're really handy because you actually only need exactly 2 of these containers for this recipe, and it just helps keep the bars really moist and without adding a bunch of extra fat or calories. And my sweetener of choice is maple syrup. I'm from Ontario. We have maple syrup everywhere around here, but if you find it hard to find an authentic or a natural, pure maple syrup, then go with honey because that's a healthy sweetener. I also added some egg whites and some high protein 0% Greek yogurt, a little splash of vanilla extract, and stirring all of my wet ingredients together. And now my coconut oil has melted, so I'm gonna mix that in as well. And then I'm just gonna be very gentle and stir both my dry and my wet ingredients together until there's no clumps. Be careful not to overmix it. And the last ingredient I'm gonna add, and I would argue the most important ingredient, of course, is a little bit of mini chocolate chips. I only add a little bit. I feel like it doesn't need much in this recipe, and it also makes it kind of like a treasure hunt when you're eating. Every bite you're like, is this gonna be the bite with the chocolate chip? I don't know. It's kind of like when you eat popcorn and it's not all salty, so you just keep eating until you get a salty, buttery bite. Does anyone else relate to that? I don't know. Okay, and now I'm just putting my wooden skewers in some water, and that just helps them not to burn when I put them on the barbecue later. Okay, so I'm gonna be prepping some of my fresh ingredients. So I'm starting out by grating 1 medium carrot, and I'm gonna put it in a large bowl, and this is gonna be for the tuna pasta salad. And it helps here to follow the meal prep order of steps because we're gonna be working with a few different recipes at once. So it just helps to keep you organized. I have some canned peas. I love using canned peas because I don't have to cook them. They're already cooked. All I have to do is give them a quick rinse. So I'm also adding these in with the carrots, which is going to be for the tuna pasta salad. And then I did have some extra, so I just put it in a separate container and stuck it in the fridge. Now these bell peppers are for the chicken skewers. So I'm just going to be chopping up 2 bell peppers. You can pick any color, it doesn't matter. And you wanna cut them into about 1-inch pieces. And when you're done chopping up your bell peppers, you can put them on a plate and keep that plate close by because we're gonna be adding some red onion as well, but I like to chop my onion last because it makes the cutting board a little bit stinky. So I'm gonna move on to my cucumber, which is for the tzatziki sauce, and I'm just grating it up. And you wanna actually put them in a strainer or like a cheesecloth bag or something and sprinkle a little bit of salt. And this is going to help draw out any of the extra moisture because you don't want your dressing or your tzatziki dip to get wet while it's sitting in the fridge. And since we're meal prepping, it is going to be in the fridge for a few days. So you just wanna get that cucumber as dry as possible. So I've chopped up half of a red onion and I've cut it into about 1-inch pieces as well. And that's also for the chicken skewers. So I'm setting that aside and I'm using the other half of the onion for the tuna pasta salad. And this is kind of why I made a meal prep order of steps rather than just following the recipes on their own. I just found like I was kind of hopping between different recipes and I was getting confused. So the meal prep order of steps will tell you, okay, chop 1 onion and cut it in half. Half of it goes with the chicken, half of it goes with the tuna. It just kind of helped to keep me organized. So hopefully you find that helpful as well. Next, I have some pickles. My pickles are actually homemade pickles. Growing up, my dad always made our pickles in the summer. It is the best pickle recipe ever, at least in my opinion. I mean, I'm a little bit partial, but I love this pickle recipe. And I'm so glad that my husband, he enjoys canning. So he's kind of taken it upon himself to continue this family tradition. So we like to make pickles once a year and we do a huge batch of homemade pickles and it lasts us for about a whole year. So Dad, if you're listening to this, I'm grateful. Love your pickles, Daddy. Now we're moving on to some protein. I love chicken, especially chicken breast because it's so lean, it's so good. I do find that if you can just marinate your chicken breast for even 30 minutes, it really makes a huge difference. So that's what I'm doing today. I only had about 15 or 20 minutes to let the chicken soak up the marinade, but it really did make a huge difference. So just chop up your chicken breast into 1-inch pieces, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then squeeze half a lemon into the bag. And I'm also going to be adding a drizzle of olive oil, and for convenience, I'm using garlic powder instead of fresh garlic, keeping it really simple. And then I'm also adding just a little bit of Italian seasoning blend, but you could also do like a mixture of oregano or basil, any herbs that you like. Giving it a good sprinkle of salt and a little bit of pepper, sealing it up, giving everything a good shake and setting it aside. Do you guys remember that movie with the Olsen twins? I cannot remember. Maybe it was like a series. I think it was a movie though. And they had an argument or a disagreement in the show about making scrambled eggs. And then one of the Olsen sisters puts the eggs in the Ziploc bag and shakes it. What movie was that? I love that movie. Anyways, this is like a nostalgic moment for me right now. Next, I'm gonna get a large pot of water boiling, and I have some whole wheat fusilli noodles, and you can really go with any shape of noodle that you like. I chose a whole wheat noodle because they actually store really nicely in the fridge. Sometimes like brown rice noodles, I find they can go a little bit hard when they're cooled. So since this is a cold pasta salad, I found whole wheat is the best option personally, but you can choose whatever kind of noodle that you prefer. And now I'm just heading outside because I want to get my grill nice and hot before it's time to cook my chicken skewers. And while my grill's preheating, I am going to work on my tuna pasta salad dressing. Instead of using only mayonnaise, I'm actually doing about half and half with Greek yogurt and mayo. I still like to use mayonnaise because it adds such a nice flavor. I love the taste of mayonnaise, but obviously it's super high in calories and fat. So I'm just making it a little bit healthier and with more protein by subbing plain Greek yogurt instead of using all mayonnaise. I'm also using some pickle juice, which might sound a little bit weird, but it adds a nice tangy flavor. And I'm also squeezing in some fresh lemon juice. All of these ingredients mixed together taste absolutely delicious. I promise you, even my 3-year-old loved this tuna pasta salad. It's such a healthy recipe, really simple to make, and it stores so well in the fridge. So I'm using 2 cans of tuna packed in water, and I've drained out all of the extra liquid. And I'm just pouring that dressing on top of everything. My noodles haven't quite finished cooking yet, so I'm gonna pre-mix these ingredients first, and then I'll just set it aside until my noodles are done, and I will add those in at the end. Now I'm ready to work on my Greek yogurt tzatziki sauce. So I already have that garlic minced from earlier, and I'm adding in a lot of plain Greek yogurt. Hopefully you like yogurt, ladies, because there's a lot of yogurt in today's meal prep. I love using yogurt because it's just such a good source of protein, and it's really easy to use it in sweet or savory recipes. So I'm taking that cucumber from earlier that was sitting with some salt, and I'm squeezing out as much of that liquid as possible. I want to keep this dressing nice and thick and creamy, and I don't want it to get watery, so it's really important. And then you're going to add in salt and pepper. I also have some fresh lemon juice in there. Give everything a really good stir and make sure you taste it to see if it needs a little bit more salt. I did find I needed more salt, so definitely do the taste test. You want to try your noodles because you don't want them to be hard, especially when you cool them. Sometimes the noodles can go a bit hard if they're not perfectly cooked. So make sure they're fully cooked and then rinse them really well, get off all of the extra starches, and make sure the noodles are nice and cold before you add them in the tuna salad. And that's it. The tuna pasta salad is done, and it actually tastes better the longer that it sits in the fridge. Now it's time to make the chicken kebabs. So I have these wooden sticks that have been soaking in water for a little while. And all I'm gonna do is add on a piece of chicken, a piece of pepper, and onion, and just alternate between the ingredients until my stick is full. I actually used 4 chicken breasts for this recipe. You can use 3 or 4, it doesn't really matter. I have a large family, so typically I share my meals with my kids or my husband, so I wanted to make more, and I probably could have even doubled this recipe because everyone in my family loved it so much, and it didn't last long, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to meal prep a second time this week, I think, if I wanna have these again. They were that good, especially with the tzatziki sauce. Oh my goodness, it was just the perfect combo. Once your chicken is fully cooked, I like to set it aside and just cover it loosely with some foil. That way the chicken will stay nice and moist. So my protein bars are done and they've been sitting in this pan for a few minutes. I just let them cool a little bit before slicing them. And I like to slice them into 6 portions. And that's my son Levi. He's like dying for a bite, and I can confirm he loved them.
Mom, can I have a
These turned out so good.
These are so good.
You guys like them? Sometimes when storing my meals, I like to just put them in one giant container and portion them out when I'm ready to eat. Since I'm a stay-at-home mom, that's often the most convenient way for me. However, today I decided to evenly portion them into 3 servings so I knew exactly how much protein I was getting with each meal. So I can safely say that each of these containers has almost 30 grams of protein, which is awesome. With the tzatziki sauce, I wanted to store that separate from my chicken kebabs because I don't want to reheat the Greek yogurt. So I will just take a scoop of that after I've reheated my chicken, and I'll just serve it on the side. And as we wrap up today's video, just a little piece of advice. Do not meal prep when it's almost dinner time, or you're gonna end up eating all of the food that you prepared. At least that's what happened to these chicken kebabs this night. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.